Hello, my name is Rajiv Chopra and I'm making a short video for all of you. I recently had an advanced foundation batch and I encouraged all of them to make or to do a photography project. Most of them panicked. They thought that this would take forever, but I try to explain to them that sometimes all you need to do is to make a mini project, something that you can do either in one afternoon or something that you can do over a week or 2 weeks. So mini folios, mini projects are very easy. You don't always need to have a 6-month long project, but if you want to go down that path, be my guest. Now, one of the major factors that influence these mini projects, these mini folios, is the fact that very few people read books and attention spans are becoming shorter. There is also another undeniable fact that if you flip through a photo book which contains 50 or 100 images which look the same, it gets very boring and even photographers might fall asleep. So for instance, I have a book called Hands and I flipped through it once, I bought it and I've kept it. I've kept it more because I wanted a record of the dimensions of the book and the paper quality. But I've just gone through the book once and after that, not again. The photographs are fantastic, but 200 pages of Hands is a bit too much. So think about that. Ideally, 6 to 12 is good. So where do you start when you want to decide what to photograph? Where do you draw your inspiration from? These are critical questions. You don't just go out and start doing projects. So think about this particular aspect. You start by making a list. You start by making a long list. You shorten the list. And after that, you shorten it further. And then finally, you bring it down to just one list and rather one project. And that's the one project that you work on. You don't always have to follow this procedure. Now the question is, where do you get your inspiration from? The starting point, in my opinion, is also to go deep inside yourself. Understand yourself. What are your interests? What moves you? What excites you? These are incredibly powerful forces. And if you understand the power of these forces, you will actually be able to create not just a long list of projects that you might delete, but you might actually be able to create a list of projects that will actually go out and implement or do. Sometimes the inspiration comes from books that you read, music that you heard, or movies that you've seen, or even the newspaper. But books and music are often incredibly inspirational. And I have actually done a few projects where I have used the inspiration from the books that I've read. Or sometimes conversations that you have had. It happens sometimes that you have a conversation and somebody just says something and it sparks an idea, but not necessarily something that you might want to do. And it can be quite amazing about how you just pick up these little ideas. So I had a project on Delhi, which I wanted to do. I abandoned it and I have had a conversation with one of my students. He gave me an idea and I have parked it. And it's something which I will work on in the coming months. And that might be a long project, but it was that conversation which sparked the idea. Sometimes current events inspire you. So, for instance, now let me talk about the way that my street photography is going. When I started doing street photography many years ago, I focused on homeless people. And I thought that was great, authentic photography. Many years later, I switched my approach and I started to focus on street portraits. And I wanted to actually highlight or emphasize the, how would I call it, the innate dignity that is there in every human being. However, everything that I've been reading in the last 4 to 5 years indicates that inequality is growing in the country, is growing in the world, but in India is growing even faster than many other countries. And I often wonder if people, or the common man, or the common woman, or whichever word you want to use, is becoming marginalized. And so some of the work that I'm doing now actually reflects all the material that I've been reading in newspapers, in magazines, in short, current events and current affairs. Sometimes you get your final inspiration on location. I went to Janpath about a few weeks ago. I was there at 8 o'clock in the morning and it was empty. The streets were shut, very few people were around. But I noticed empty chairs. I noticed empty rickshaws. I noticed scooters, bicycles that were parked. Now, I did the same thing in Chowri Bazaar. And what was so special about this? These are objects that we all use in our day-to-day life. Therefore, there is a strong human element in them, but the human was missing. So I decided to take images where the human was missing, but the object indicated human activity. Will I do 100 pictures? No. I've done this, I've collected about 6 to 12 images over two walks, and that's it. I'm going to edit them and I'll put them out. And sometimes you must ask if the project will interest people. So these are images of Connaught Place, the ones on top here. This is Connaught Place on top, and this is Connaught Place here. These are both examples of digital pinhole photography. Now, I like digital pinhole photography. It's a fascinating field. It's as fascinating in a different way compared to genuine film-based pinhole photography. But will people be interested in looking at images that they consider blurry, especially in these days where we all want absolutely tack sharp images? This is again digital pinhole. As you can see, if you look at these images here, there is a bit of the dust spots are visible. So I have not edited these images. But again, will this interest people? Maybe not. So while you can work on a project for your own satisfaction, when you put this out into the world, you must ask yourself if people will be interested. If even 5 people say fantastic, I think you've achieved something. So once you decide, go out and take the photographs. You need to actually move beyond talking and writing and thinking to actually doing. Cull the images. So you might end up taking about 40, 50, 60, 100, 200, 300 images. You can't edit that many images. So you have to cull the images down to a manageable number. 6 to 12 is about the maximum that I would go. I would even restrict it to about 6 because that's a very sweet number. Half a dozen, which is cool. And if there's sufficient variation, then 12. And why do I say that? Is because you need to be able to pay attention while you're editing. If you're going to edit 100 pictures, you will get into editing fatigue. Some of the fantastic tools, or the best tool in my opinion, is Adobe Bridge, which is a part of the Adobe Creative Cloud, or you can get it if you have just the photographer's plan. You fill in the metadata like keywords, the location, the copyright information, your name, your details. Fill in all that information in Bridge. It is an absolutely brilliant bit of software for that. From Bridge, you can actually take the image straight into Photoshop or into Lightroom, whichever way you want to start the editing process. So Adobe Bridge, as I said, is fantastic for organizing, adding metadata, for rating, and for culling. Then you edit, and you have to decide what kind of mood you want to create. Apologies for this spelling error, but I can't help that. And this image is a fairly moody image. It's not a straight edit. So you must ask yourself, what is the kind of mood that you want to create? What's the kind of color grading that you will do if it's going to be a color image? And what's the kind of toning, the split toning that you will do if it's a black and white image? After that, you must think about what kind of story you want to create, what is your message, what do you want your viewer to see. True stories, honest lies. Well, that's a nice line, huh? Finally, present your folio to the world. It can be on social media, a PDF document, a slideshow. It can go onto your website. You can create galleries, and you can create short movies with using tools like Canva. Now, there are 3 examples. I will include the links in the description below. And as you can see, I made 2 with Canva, and I have edited 1 using Vinci Resolve 19. And the first 2 are projects I did using artificial intelligence, or AI art as they call it, and the third is Sunrise on the Ganges. This is the short folio, Rest Unrest. That's the title one of my students gave for this project, and I think it's fantastic. The editing process takes time. Now, if you want to go down the fine art route, for instance, or the fine art route, you will need to clear up all this mess, because you don't want people to be focusing on the mess. So there's a lot of work that goes into clearing up all the distractions if you're going down that route. If you're not going down that route and you just want to create something that is realistic but a bit moody, then you can leave the muck in, but remove some of the distractions, because they will distract your viewer from the main theme that you want to convey. Now, I was driving by my mom's house, and I saw this collection of damaged cars outside or opposite the police station. They're gone now, by the way. So I quickly took photographs of the cars. I used my Fujifilm X-T4 with a 35mm prime lens. These are the original images, and these are the edited images. So as you can see, there is a big difference between the original and the edit. So it helps a little bit if you have an idea of what you are seeing and what is the kind of mood that you are wanting to create. And finally, it's time to go, and I wish you well, and I really hope that all of you go out and make some projects of your own. Just go out and do it. Have fun, enjoy yourself. And that's me. I will give you the links to my websites also in the description. I will give you the links to my websites in the description. There are two: www.rajivchopra.com, which is my photography website, and there is www.rajivchopra.in, which is my blog.